and try this out based on all of your great feedback on Teachable. So thank you so much for following your feedback, providing it. We'll start exactly at 12 noon. I'm going to give everyone 2 minutes to sort of settle in, and then we'll stick to our agenda, each part in 10 minutes for 9 parts, 90-minute class total. This will make it easier for people to fast forward, go back, navigate for what serves you. So we'll give you each a minute to settle in. Grab a blanket, whatever you need. We'll just take a moment. We're getting ready to test out our new agenda. You'll hear all about it. Okay, we're starting. Welcome everyone to our live on YouTube RPYT, Registered Prenatal Yoga Teacher training class. Today we are going to do an agenda, 3 sections. Each section has 3 parts. Each part is 10 minutes for a 90-minute class. 9 10-minute sections or 3 30-minute sections, depending on how you want to slice and dice. This is week 46 of our RPYT, Registered Yoga Teacher Training, bridge pose, which we will get to later. Some people commented in Teachable saying, why week 46? Pregnancy is 40 weeks. Yes, we are familiar with the length of pregnancy at ShareLove.Fund as registered prenatal yoga teachers, and as a mom who's been through 3 pregnancies myself. Our program isn't about your gestational week. Our program is about all of our degrees being 52 weeks, because the SHARE method was developed for incarcerated women so that they may earn a degree that respects their mind, body, and soul, making their time behind bars productive. There is a higher likelihood of women who are incarcerated suffering from a mental illness due to the incarceration, and by having our 6 programs be based on a 52-week schedule, it allows our incarcerated women to have something to look forward to each week, and also to sort of have a plan for the next 6 years, especially those serving life sentences, and that helps people stay sane. So all of our programs are 52 weeks because there is 52 weeks in the year, and that is a positive way to pace incarcerated women, to keep them motivated, to keep them learning, to keep them being productive, even if they believe that they will never leave their facility. At least maybe they could work really hard to be a custodial yoga instructor within their facility. Maybe they'll never leave, but their students will. As teachers, we live vicariously through all of our students, and that can be a liberation in and of itself. So right here at ShareLove.Fund, we're counting our blessings where they may lie. So let's get to the agenda. So this is the first 10-minute section. I will discuss our class agenda. So part 1, we will spend 30 minutes in meditation, centering, sort of getting our focus. So we can think of these 2 minutes of announcements that have just gone by, sort of a centering. We'll do 10 minutes centering, 10 minutes breath work, and 10 minutes meditation. After that, we will get into part 2, our techniques. And I have my handy dandy slides. For techniques, that will also be 30 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes of our pose of the week, a 10-minute sequence of the week. As you know, it is always a partial sequence until we have accumulated all 9 poses. We have 5 sections of 9 poses each. That's why we're based on a 52-week schedule for the 45 key share method poses, but we'll get into that later. So we'll do 10 minutes pose of the week, 10 minutes is sequence of the week, which will be a partial sequence unless we are in a review week where we finished the sequence. And then a 10-minute brief cumulative review. As you know, the share method is based on repetition. You don't need any tests or quizzes. We will just repeat until it's so boring you won't forget it. And that way you have a go-to teaching method in your back pocket. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, but it's there for you. And that's how we make anybody can become a confident yoga teacher with our method. And because it's based on repetition, we limit the scope of yoga and we really drill it down. And that's enough to get through an hour-and-a-half class as a teacher. After the overview, we will do our last 30-minute section of our hour-and-a-half class, and that's our practice. We'll do a 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute core workout, and 10-minute cool down. So without further ado, let's start our 10-minute centering. So today, I guess I'm really in teacher mode, so we'll have to listen to your feedback. We'll gladly listen to your feedback on Teachable. You can tell me if this worked for you or not, but I'm going to try to use a little whiteboard, make it a little academic. Okay, so for our centering, what we are going to do is talk about a Tao philosophy, a Tao quote that has been translated from ancient Chinese. Taoism was developed in 400 BCE, before Common Era, super old. And we don't teach this as religion. While it may be a religion for some people, what we teach at ShareLove.Fund is critical thinking. And so sometimes we look at ancient texts, not as them being gospel, but thinking, why did this text last so long? Maybe it resonates. Maybe there's something about the human story that it rings true for. So we explore it in terms of critical thinking. So the centering quote of today is make the mind a single point. So here, I'll put it up. Make the mind, I have lawyer handwriting, so I apologize. Make the mind a single point. So when in yoga, when we balance, what do? We look at a focal point, and when we concentrate our eyes on a focal point, we can balance. Why is it harder to balance if, like, I'm shaking my head, why do I fall out of balance? Why is it easier to balance when my eyes are still? If I shake my head, why do I fall out? Why is that? So let's explore this in our 10-minute centering. First, to explore this idea, make the mind a single point. Let's define what is a single point. So I just gave an example that a single point can be a spot on the wall. This bear's nose can be a single point. A single point can also be in time. This moment, 12:07, live on YouTube, is a single defined moment in time. So a single point can be a point in space, our physical space, like the bear's nose. It can be a point in time. Single point can also be, this is related to physical space, but it could be a coordinate as for navigation. A single point can also be abstract, a point of view, a perspective, an agenda point. Like I just talked about our class agenda, and I have a point. My point is I want to teach centering. So single point can be the essence of something. Like, what is the point of this class? Is the point of this class to promote Aloe Yoga's clothes? Well, frankly, I wouldn't mind the sponsorship, but that's not really the point. The point of this class is so, for full disclosure, really the point of this class is so that our public paying customers earning a prenatal degree can fund our outreach program so that we can give free prenatal degrees to high school pregnant women who need a vocation upon graduating high school that can support their child, and also our incarcerated women, and also our pregnant incarcerated women. We're a charity, so it's not really about the business, it's about doing enough business to fund the charity work. That is our point. I'm gonna wrap up so I stay on time so we can think about this. So this is food for thought. So what are the tools of how to make the mind a single point? So this is the idea, make the mind a single point. Our tools for making the mind a single point are meditation, singing, scripture. Sometimes people who are religious, they turn to scripture, maybe something else. What is your personal tool for making a single point? At ShareLove.Fund, we advocate critical thinking. There's no test or quiz on this. This is just, maybe this helps expand your mind. Cool, then it wasn't a waste. Maybe this felt like a total waste of your time. Well, now you know what's useful to you and what isn't. So that's useful too. Homework, it's not real homework, I'm not collecting it. How does your point of view determine your outlook? We're out of time, I have to do the new 10-minute section now, but how does your point of view determine your outlook? So we'll think about that. How does your point of view determine your outlook? So we're done with the whiteboard for this class. So that was our 10-minute centering. So that was our 10-minute centering, but it's done. So now we have our 10-minute breath work. So I'm gonna do this so our video people can be happy. 10-minute breath work, okay? So we start that. So for the 10 minutes of breath work, let's take a comfortable seated position, and we're just gonna work on breathing. So the cool thing about breathing is you all get an A+ in breathing. Everybody here has been breathing all day, all night without even thinking about it. We're all superstar breathers. So what does breath work mean if we're all breathing and it's on autopilot? Is this just like selling snake oil, this breath work concept? Well, the idea is that whatever we do, we can optimize it. So you can optimize your sleep. You can optimize how you chew your food. You can optimize your perspective, as we were talking about with the centering. How does your point of view determine your outlook? And you can also optimize your breathing. So a lot of people are thinking about cardio health and heart health, and we also can think about respiratory health. And we can optimize our breathing by exercising our lungs. So our lungs, just like everything else, can be exercised. And it's a little bit boring and tedious, so it makes it less boring to do it together. So let's just breathe together. So let's just take a few breaths. We'll just take 3 normal breaths, and that is your body's natural breathing rhythm. Breath work coaches won't often talk about your natural breathing rhythm as a type of breath, but it is. It's the starting point. So we'll start with exploring our natural rhythm breath. So let's just take 3 breaths together. And now let's try to really make our respiratory system work a little bit, and let's expand the lungs. So we're gonna breathe in and then try to exhale 2 parts. So in will be 1 part, the exhale will be 2 parts, like a ratio. And the reason why I'm giving ratios is this is a prenatal class. I don't want anyone to be unsafe or restrict their breath. If I count to 10 on the inhale and count to 20 on the exhale, that might be too little for some people and too much for some other people, maybe just right for some, but I don't know. You know, this is YouTube. It's not reasonable for me to know your specific medical conditions. By the way, I evoke all the medical disclaimers. Nothing here shall be construed as medical advice. So basically we talk in ratios so you can adjust it for yourself. So start with your general breath and then work on slowly exhaling so that you have now made your exhale in 2-to-1 ratio to your inhale. So we start with your natural breath. Now we take your natural breath, your natural inhale, and now we're going to sort of ×2 on the exhale, unless your exhale was already that long. If your exhale is longer than 2 parts, that's even better. So we're taking our natural breath in, and now we're just, why don't you count in your inhale and count out your exhale naturally. Inhale and exhale, and find your natural rhythm, counting it out. And then, since we are all super smart people here, I think we can do a little elementary school math, and we're going to figure out our own ratios. And you can comment on the YouTube, I can see the comments, or you can kind of figure it out yourself. But start with your natural breath and figure out what your natural breath ratio is. Let's just take a moment of silence while you figure that out. Okay, so now whatever your natural breath ratio is, try to expand your exhale so it is a 2-to-1 ratio with your inhale. If your exhale is already that long or longer, great. And for those of you whose exhale is already that long or longer, then your little class assignment is to continue to expand your inhale and exhale. You can keep it in that ratio, or you can continue to widen that ratio by having an increasingly long exhale. So the only limit to how long your exhale is what personally doesn't make you feel lightheaded. So feel free to challenge the boundaries of that within a zone that you feel safe and comfortable. Feeling out of breath, feeling suffocated, feeling lightheaded, feeling dizzy, these are not good things. So the idea is that our breath work today makes us feel relaxed and in control. And also, a fun fact is that having a longer exhale has shown physiological effects to decrease anxiety, and anxiety is a big part of pregnancy for a lot of people. So there's no points for lightheadedness. The point is to feel really in control and relaxed. So let's take a minute to breathe in and out, expanding our exhale to be at least 2 parts longer than our inhale. Now for the final exercise. We'll try to make each breath gradually longer. So longer on the inhale, longer on the exhale. And for those of you who are a little more advanced, try to think of the inhale, and then I don't like to say holding the breath, although a lot of breath work people say that, but I try never to say that in a prenatal class. We're basically creating space between the inhale and exhale, and then exhaling. So think about inhaling one part, creating space between the inhale and the exhale for one part, and then exhaling 2 or more parts, and then think about increasing all of those 3 sections with every breath, especially the exhale. So let's try that for a minute, and that will be our concluding breathwork exercise. So let's do it. As you do it, you can think about our centering quote. Make the mind a single point. Well done. We are going to go into our 10-minute meditation. So I'm doing a really good job following instructions. I may be the founder and CEO, but I am a slave to our graduates who we have, who are volunteering and helping us, and super smart and good at running businesses and telling me what to do. So I am their puppet, and I have done my job with following the directions as instructed. So this now starts our 10-minute meditation. So we can take the tools that we learned in the first 2 parts, our centering, make the mind a single point, and our breath work, trying to make our exhales longer than our inhales. So with all that goody good knowledge, we build to our climax of this meditation section for a 10-minute meditation. Let us begin. Come to a comfortable position. You can lie on your back, sit in a chair, sit on your bed. For our incarcerated women, you might feel more comfortable standing or walking, and you can do this as a walking meditation. You can pair your footsteps with your breathing and find a nice natural rhythm. You may want to walk in a circle and think of the circle of your breath, and I encourage you to sort of, if you do that, to switch sides, because if we walk in a circle all the time in the same direction, it gets us a little off center. Take a moment to get comfortable here and begin to focus on the natural rhythm of your breath. Inhale slowly and smoothly, allowing the breath to deeply travel to the lower belly. Pause and exhale slowly and smoothly, releasing the breath from the body through your nostrils or through your mouth. In the points where I'm silent, please draw your attention on your breath, thinking of our centering point. Make your mind a single point. And you can think about focusing your mind on your breath. Your breath can be the single point of convergence for your thoughts. Now take a moment to make any last-minute adjustments here so that your body can remain as comfortable and as still as possible throughout this process. Feel the breath flowing in and out, softening your face and jaw to allow the breath to flow smoothly in and out. Soften your eyes, relax your shoulders. Let your entire body feel relaxed and heavy. And now come back to the sound of my voice. Continue to breathe and let any distracting thoughts float away from you. Breathe in through your nose and out your mouth. or out your nose. Allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Bring your full attention to the sensations as you inhale, as the air enters your nostrils, travels through your lungs, and causes your belly to expand. Take time to notice each exhale as your belly contracts and the air moves up through the lungs, back up and exits through your nose or mouth. Invite your full attention to flow with your breath and notice all of the associated sensations in every part of your body. Notice how the inhale is different from the exhale. You may experience the air as cool as it enters your nose or as warm as you exhale. As you turn more deeply inward, begin to let go of the distractions around you. Begin to let go of the noises around you. If they become a distraction at any point, simply notice them and then bring your attention back to your breath. Don't worry about trying to change anything about your breath. Don't try to control your breath. Observe and accept your experience in this moment without judgment, paying attention to each inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders to thoughts or plans or problems, simply notice your mind wandering. Observe the thoughts as it enters your awareness as neutrally as possible. Then practice letting go of the thought as if it were a fluffy cloud simply passing across your view of the sky. In your mind, place each thought that arises on a cloud and watch as it floats out of your view. Then bring your attention back to your breath. Your breath is meant to function as the anchor. And when you return over and over to your breath, you remember that you have this anchor to go back to. Anytime you become distracted by your thoughts, you can return to the anchor of your breath. Notice when your mind has wandered. Observe the types of thoughts that hook or distract you. Noticing is the richest part of learning. With this knowledge, you can strengthen your ability to detach from thoughts and mindfully focus your awareness back on the qualities of your breath. Practice coming home to the breath with your full attention. Watch the gentle rise of your stomach on the in-breath and the relaxing, letting go of the out-breath. Allow yourself to be completely with your breath as it flows in and out. You might become distracted by pain or discomfort in the body, or twitching or even itching sensations that draw your attention away from your breath. You may also notice feelings arising, perhaps sadness or happiness, frustration or contentment. Acknowledge whatever comes up, including those stories about your experience. Simply notice where your mind went without judging it, without pushing it away, and also without clinging to it or wishing it were different. And instead, simply refocus your mind and guide your attention back to your breath. Breathe in and out. Follow the air all the way in and all the way out. Mindfully be present moment by moment with your breath. If your mind wanders away from your breath, just notice it without judging it. Be it a thought, emotion, or sensation that hooks your attention, and gently guide your awareness back to your breathing. As this practice comes to an end, slowly allow your attention to expand and notice your entire body, and then beyond your body to the room that you are in. When you are ready, open your eyes and come back fully alert and awake. Namaste. So that concludes our 10-minute meditation and our 30-minute section on meditation, which included centering, breath work, and meditation. Now we'll start our section 2, our next 30 minutes of our hour-and-a-half class. And section 2 is going to be the technique section. So this is really the nitty-gritty for teacher trainers. What separates the men from the boys, the little girls from the women, and this is what it's all about. You are an RPYT trainee, and so we are here to get some training. So this section will have 10 minutes discussing the pose of the week. So this is our overview. We'll do the pose of the week, the sequence of the week, and a brief cumulative review, each 10 minutes for the 30 minutes of this section. So this is sort of like a unit overview of the next 30 minutes. And this is our cue card. Marketing people love me and following instructions. So to make video editing easier. So anyway, very cooperative. Not really. I'm super difficult to work with, but on camera, I try to make myself look cooperative. Okay, so pose of the week. This is our 10-minute section. Woohoo! So what do we do? And I was supposed to use this, but I'm not using this. I'm not a PE coach. Okay. So a little road. So our pose of the week this week is bridge pose. Let us check it out. So bridge pose is great for prenatal because it is a great way to strengthen the pelvic floor. But let's talk more action. So let me just get into bridge pose quickly so that we are all talking about the same thing in case someone is not familiar. Bridge pose. You can take a comfortable lying down position. If you're lying down, prenatal, you can bring your knees into chest wide legged to make space for the baby. Roll it out a little bit. No tweaks or torques to the torso when we're pregnant, but you can roll as one unit. After you've massaged the spine a little bit, gently plant your feet on the mat, hands flat. Inhale, push the pelvis up, shimmy the shoulders back. This is a great back and shoulder stretch. And clasp the hands together and look up. And there you go, bridge pose. It strengthens the back and it is a great pelvic floor exercise. So that is that. So bridge pose is great for when you're pregnant. It's also great for postpartum. So I highly recommend our postpartum YSAP to get into the best shape of your life. Certainly worked for me. Now, meaning that I've never been stronger until after I had the kids and actually focused on it. Okay, so let's talk about enhancements, blocks, modifications, contraindications. all the good stuff that you teacher trainees would like to know as we take a deep dive into techniques of our pose of the week. So, a block. How does this work with bridge pose? Well, a few ways. So, for people that, it's a bit much, you can kind of chill and have the block. So this is, I would say, Saturday night bridge pose, okay? Not doing too much here, but this could feel really great as an inversion. So you're not working any of that good stuff that bridge pose works. It's definitely not a pelvic floor exercise in this way. But if somebody really is not having it with the actual work of bridge pose, they can have a block and it still feels great as an inversion. Another nice thing about this block is that someone can still kind of work at bridge pose, but they don't have to come down as far. So you can kind of do like pelvic pumps. And this also brings me back to one thing Peter and I discussed in earlier classes. We have 45 key poses of the share method. We don't have 1,000 because you can take one pose and you can make tons of variations from it. So you can take the pose of bridge pose and in a class use this block and make it like pelvic pumps Jane Fonda class. There's so much you can do with different things. You can also, use bridge pose one leg up, one leg back, and maybe with a block, it's not as far to fall. So that's one way we can use a block. Let's talk about a way that's really going to change bodies. Putting a block between the legs. When you go into bridge pose, and let's shimmy the shoulders underneath. I'm just looking at the time. I'm good on the time. When you put a block between your legs, this really makes you work. So this is a great way. Then if you stick one leg out, the other leg out, that really makes you work. So that is a great way to use bridge pose as a boot camp for pelvic floor, both pregnant and especially postpartum. Slowly roll back. Okay, other ways we can use a block and bolster for a bridge pose. I'm not really thinking of other ways. I guess if certain weight is uncomfortable, maybe you have a blanket behind your neck, please feel free to comment in Teachable if you have other ideas of how to use props for a bridge pose. But I think that supporting underneath and between the legs is really the only one. And I think sticking the legs out for a deeper exercise works. To restore your body after coming out of bridge pose, because it is an arch, kind of like wheel. It's great to bring the knees in, rock it out from side to side. You can even rock it out a little bit. We'll do boat pose, sorry. And I'll just take a peek. We'll do boat pose in week 49. So boat pose is part of the series. And the reason why boat pose is part of the series is when you are a teacher doing a sequence, you want to make sure to not strain your students' bodies. So when we have bridge pose in this sequence for week number 46, in 3 poses, we will do boat pose, which we'll take a deep dive in week 49, because we want to even it out. So, so that's sort of important to just think about your sequences. When you sequence plan, if you are doing bridge, and then wheel, and then bow, and the locust, like all together, that would be a bit much. So if you have your students come up like this, then maybe think about having them come to happy baby. It's a little hard to go from your back in sequencing to child's pose. So when you think of sequencing, especially for pregnant women, think about it as trying to do mat work all together and maybe back mat work and then front mat work. Pregnant women, what doesn't work is doing a mat work and then getting up and then doing balancing pose and then coming down and doing mat work. You can't, in sequencing, you can't have pregnant women going all three levels, as I like to say. So that is something else to think about. I guess one last prop, because I have one more minute. You can think of using the belt in bridge pose. So we talked about shimmying our shoulders behind us and clasping our hands. I guess if somebody has an anatomy difficulty, you know, maybe they can gain strength holding a yoga belt. Maybe they can't clasp their hands. And so holding a yoga belt is a way for them to ground themselves, but create more distance between the wrists. I want to say yoga belt is a little bit different than those stretchy elastic bands because it has resistance. You don't, because it's inflexible, you don't need a yoga belt. You can use your belt at home, your regular belt. But I don't understand how to effectively use these bands that stretch. I feel like it makes you feel like you're working hard, but not doing anything because there's not resistance. I'd love to learn more and be proven wrong, but I'll never teach with, at this time with the elastic band. So whenever I talk about a belt, I'm not talking about those stretchy ones. Okay, I am a minute behind, I apologize. Okay, so our next 10-minute section on techniques is doing the sequence of the week. So let's check out our sequence of the week and see how our pose of the week, bridge pose, comes into that. So let's look at what we've learned so far. So we are in Series E. It is our final sequence. And bridge pose is our fourth pose of the 9 poses in our sequence. As you know, we have 45 key share method poses. 45 divided by 5 sequences means 9 poses a sequence. So every week ending in a 2, week 12, 22, 32, 42, and our upcoming final week, week 52, will be a culmination of that sequence with those 9 poses. So you'll see all 9 poses in week 52 coming up. Right now is week 46, but right now we have about half of our sequence, so let's just review it. So part of the sequence, week 43, we did seated wide-legged straddle. Week 44, we did cobbler's pose. Week 45, last week, reclined goddess. Week 46, we did bridge pose. So let's just do that 2 more times because, as you know, the share method is based on repetition, no tests or quizzes. We have really great instructors that are actually illiterate and we're able to understand our program and become effective teachers. How? Because incarcerated women have time on their hands and we're very repetitive. So we're going to repeat this 2 times and maybe it's a little boring for you, but you'll know it without trying. So our poses are wide-legged forward fold. So for here, we can walk our hands out, reach, 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 and then exhale, gently curving the back. Inhale, bring it all in, zip it up. Come to cobbler's pose with the feet touching, feeling the connection. With your hands on your feet, you can give yourself a little self-massage, which feels so good in pregnancy. You can open up your feet like a book. Oh, this is a really good book. I'm gonna read this today. From cobbler's pose, you can rainbow your arms around, and then exhale, slowly laying on your back, bringing your feet back into cobbler's pose, but now you're laying down, and it's reclined goddess. In reclined goddess, you can have a hand on your heart, hand on your hips, cactus arms, or we talked about even having your arms mirror your feet and allowing this to not only be a hip opener, but a heart opener. We also talked about later in your pregnancy, you might not feel comfortable on your back so long, and we can modify using props for reclined goddess, so you're up a little more. But let's assume everyone can safely be here. From reclined goddess, we go into bridge pose, our pose of the week. So now we'll just do that sequence for the third and last time before adding it into our sun salutation. So we'll do it like we're teaching a class. Hi everyone, take a comfortable seated position on the floor. Inhale the arms up and exhale forward fold, wide-legged. Take 3 breaths here. And inhale your feet in towards your center, drawing yourself in with the crown of your head to the ceiling and your tailbone to the floor. Take a few breaths here. When you become ready, please find a comfortable position laying on the mat. Inhale as you draw the soles of your feet together and bend your knees. And inhale your arms up, putting your hands together to mirror your legs. Exhale, bring your arms to the sides of you and place your feet on the mat, bending your knees, walking your feet in closer towards your glutes. Inhale your hips all the way up, shimmy your shoulders underneath you, clasp your hands, and lift your pelvis to the sky. Exhale, slowly roll your spine down, rock it out to a comfortable seated position. Oh, excellent. So now we practiced the 4 poses we've learned in Series E. This is only half the series, as you know, and you'll see the full thing in our review week and our final week of this session of this course in week 52. So now we take those 4 poses and we put it in to spice up our sun salutation, because this is how it's really going to be on week 52 when we put it all together. So we take our ordinary sun salutation and we're going to spice it up with those 4 poses. Ultimately, in week 52, you'll have a routine with 22 poses, 9 of our key signature poses used as the spices in our ordinary prenatal safe sun salutation A. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Inhale the right knee, the left knee back, and come to plank. To be prenatal safe, we're going to modify and roll the toes under to up dog. From up dog, we'll lower to cobra to also be prenatal safe. Definitely don't do cobra if it's putting pressure on the baby. Exhale, toes under to down dog. Now down dog is our point of insertion. This is where we are adding our Series E poses. So instead of continuing with our sun salutation, we're gonna splice right here in down dog as always. So from down dog, we splice and we go into forward fold. Cobbler's pose. Reclined goddess. Bridge pose. From bridge pose, go back into down dog like it never happened. Oh, who said what? No, we've been in down dog the whole time. Nothing's going on here. Inhale, knee in, step it forward, left leg to match, forward fold, inhale, half bend, all the way up and down. Let's do it on the last side, on the other side to cement it in, and then you're done with the sequence of the week. Inhale, arms up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend, exhale, right leg back, left leg back, plank, toes under, up dog, cobra, exhale, down dog, putting in our Series E poses, exhale, forward fold, inhale, cobbler, exhale, reclined goddess, inhale, bridge, exhale, coming back to down dog. Inhale, right knee in, step it forward, left leg to match, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend all the way up, and exhale, Tadasana. Congratulations. So, now we have our last 10-minute section of techniques, our last 10-minute section of part 2, techniques. Not of the whole class, you don't get out that easily, but just part 2, we have the 30-minute technique section. We did pose of the week for 10 minutes, then we did sequence of the week for 10 minutes. Now we'll spend 10 minutes doing cumulative review. So, can't really review everything in this 10 minutes, but let's do a little bit. So, first, we're just going to kind of power through all the sequences we've learned to date and see how that goes. Okay, so let's review the first 9 poses of the share method that we learned. So in this sequence, so this is the first sequence of the 5, and this is Series A of Sun Salutation A. Okay, so restart. Okay, so Series A starts like this. Easy seat, the first share method pose, and this first sequence is a little different because instead of doing our 9 poses in a row in the middle of the sun salutation, we start with some of our poses as a warm-up. Okay, so this is how Series A of the share method of sun salutation A is. Okay, easy seat. Inhale, arms up, come to cat-cow to warm up the spine. This is prenatal safe because there's no twists or turns. From cat-cow, step up to Tadasana. From Tadasana, exhale, forward fold. Now we've just done the first 4 poses of the share method. So that was not so hard, right? Okay, so now inhale. So now we inhale and we continue this Series A of Sun Salutation A by breaking into the Sun Salutation. So those were the first 4 poses, then we do our Sun Salutation, but again, we always splice at the downward dog. So this is what it looks like. So just proceeding on with Sun Salutation A like it's an ordinary day. Tadasana, inhale, forward fold. Half bend. Exhale, left leg back, right leg back. Up dog, cobra, down dog. Okay, so now this is our point of insertion. We're going to insert only 5 poses. Why 5 poses in this Series A? Because Series A is unique. because it offers the warm-up. So series A is the only one where we have our 4 poses before Sun A and then only 5 in Sun A. But let's see how it works. Inhale, left, and this is what you practiced in week 12. This was what week 12 review week was. Wait, inhale, left knee in, step it forward to lunge. Now, our share method key pose is revolve lunge. That's not prenatal safe, so we're just gonna stick in lunge because you can't twist the torso. From revolved lunge, modified as lunge, we'll do extended side angle, triangle, warrior 2, reverse warrior. From reverse warrior, we'll rainbow the arms back around to lunge. From lunge, we go into down dog like it never happened. From down dog, we step it up, forward fold, inhale, and done. Now let's do it on the other side to cement it in. So we'll do it from the beginning and just act like it's a normal class, but what we're doing is we're reviewing what we just did on the left side. Let's take a few centering breaths. Inhale the arms up and come to table. From table, have your wrists under your shoulders and your knees about hip width apart. From here, take a few breaths in cat-cow, drawing your spine to the ceiling and your belly button to the floor. In cat-cow, you may want to roll around a little bit to relax the spine. From cat-cow, you can step the right foot between your hands, the left one to match, and come to Tadasana. In Tadasana, be sure to grab the mat with your feet, engaging your legs and glutes, rolling your shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. In forward fold, you can grab opposite elbows and just swing a little bit. Slowly come up, rolling one vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Bring your right knee in and step it back, and your left leg to match in plank. Toes curled under, up dog. Cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the right knee in and step it forward to lunge. From lunge, extended side angle. Triangle. Warrior 2. Make sure your shoulders are down in warrior 2. You can lift your palms to the sky and then reset them. Looking over your backhand fingertips and your front hand fingertips to make sure you're in position. Reverse warrior, relaxing the shoulder. Rainbow the arms around and come to lunge. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the right knee in, stepping it forward, the left leg to match. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Inhale all the way up, upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. Now let's see what we can get to. So we'll just do one side of our sequence because I think we'll do, we'll just see what we get to. We'll just do one side of our sequence that we just learned, our partial one, because it's pretty symmetrical. Okay, inhale, arms up. So now we're just gonna connect this series A sun salutation. We're just gonna connect it with our sequence of the week series E sun salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, left leg back, right leg back. And then we'll just put our legs forward, and then we'll go right leg back, left leg back. So there. So now we're even without having to do it twice. Toes under, up dog, cobra. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, we'll bring our knees down and we'll do forward fold. Cobbler's pose. Goddess. Bridge. One leg up, the other leg up. Work it. Slowly come down, roll it out, and Savasana. So that's an example of how you can link the 2 sun salutation series that we learned to make your own routines. So you will graduate with many different series, each week ending in a 2. We learn a series. Week 2, you learn sun salutation. Then we have series A through E. And these are tools that you can slice and dice as you want. Okay, so now we'll get up. Congratulations on finishing part 3 techniques. So now we're in our final part 3, the practice. So the practice is our last 30-minute section of our hour and a half teacher trainee guided weekly practice. And we have 10 minutes the warm up, 10 minutes the core. I say the core because the core is the center, meaning like the main exercise. But also I thought, do I want this to say the core? What if we want to do legs? And then I thought, you know what? We should be working the core every time. This is a prenatal class. There's so much going on with the core. So it's a double meaning here. Pun intended, the core, and then we'll end with 10 minutes the cool down. So this is what we're doing. And because I'm a good student myself, making it easy for video editors. Now we're gonna do the warm up, 10-minute warm up. Okay, so we're a little bit warm because we have been doing stuff, but let's just take it from the beginning. So let's start our warm up in a comfortable seated position, and we'll take a few breaths to sort of digest everything we've learned, what's going on in our lives. If you're thirsty, try to drink or maybe close your mouth and so your mouth feels less dry. You can place your palms on your knees, drawing inward, keeping the spine tall and alert. And we'll just take 3 breaths. When you feel comfortable and you don't need to follow this to a T, because the purpose is to obtain relaxation for you, you feel comfortable, you can lift your arms up, maybe tense your shoulders and let them down. Tense them and let them down. Tense them and let them down. Exhale. You can bring in one arm, maybe grabbing your leg a little bit and reaching to the side. You don't want to twist in prenatal, but sometimes a little leverage helps. You can also place a hand on the ground. Sometimes our custodial women who are incarcerated, they don't want to touch so many surfaces, so you can use your own body for leverage. We'll just take 3 breaths here, really elongating the side. Where one area expands, the other contracts. So if you feel a pinch in pregnancy, then ease up. What we're doing today should feel good. Exhale, and we'll bring it around again to the other side, noticing the difference in each side. As you bring it out, lift your arms up and exhale, forward fold. If this is squishing the baby, then please modify. You can leverage, keeping your spine straight. You can also sit on a block or bolster or widen your legs to create space. To the extent that it's not bothering the baby, you can exhale, forward fold, and walk your hands to one side, really stretching the back and the glutes. As your body eases into it, you can walk your fingers a little more, deepening your stretch. You can walk your hands back to center. And with another big inhale, exhale, forward fold. You can walk your hands to the other side. Anchoring your sits bones to the mat. You can think of your breath as a balloon, expanding the areas that are tightest. You're going to feel this in your tightest point. Some people might feel it under their arm or their back. Some people might even feel it in their legs. As you work through that point of tightness, you'll find that you'll feel it somewhere else. We're always working to stretch. We get a sense of relaxation from releases. It doesn't matter how flexible you are or what you can do, you'll always need to feel a little bit of a stretch in order to gain the benefits of a release, in order to decrease stress. When you feel ready, you can walk your hands up. And now let's stretch the shoulders. So we can reach the arm up, tug a little on the elbow. You can reach your other hand around the back, grabbing the two hands. If your hands don't reach, that's okay. You can connect them with a strap, as we've done in an earlier class, or keeping your hand on your elbow. You can take a few breaths here, thinking of our contemplation phrase of the week: make the mind a single point. And what does that mean to you? And how does the point that you focus on impact your outlook? When you feel ready, you can come out of this, shake it out, and inhale, grabbing the opposite elbow. When you feel ready, you can bring that hand around, grabbing the two, feeling the stretch, noticing the difference, if any, on each side, thinking about what in your daily routine may bring that about. When you feel ready, you can shake it out, and we'll come to cat-cow. In cat-cow, I like to do what I call around the world. So we just kind of go around the world. Being a global online yoga school, we like to go around the world. We'd like to zoom around the world for our Youth Leadership Board representing 4 countries and 10 high schools. An amazing group of 12 volunteer students that are quite literally changing the world. You can see them on our YouTube channel, volunteering videos for incarcerated women in their native languages. So we are able to reach more isolated women in more countries. As mentioned, some of the incarcerated women are pregnant, so if you are not having fun in your pregnancy, think about what if you were in a facility. So we have to count our blessings where they lie. Exhale, and we'll go to downward puppy. Downward puppy is like down dog, but on our knees, and feel the stretch under your arms. From here, you can do wide-legged child's pose. If that does not feel good with the belly, you can modify with a bolster so you're a little more up. You can have your arms here or out in front of you. Definitely don't lean on your stomach, pregnant, but to the extent it's comfortable, we'll do child's pose. If you did child's pose on one cheek, please put your head on the other cheek. Symmetry is key. Stay in child's pose. Do not follow me to get up. I just want to put this up to help. We're gonna start our core exercise now. So that was our 10-minute warm-up. So goodbye, Miss Nice Lady. Now the work begins. So from child's pose, we're gonna get up and we will go into down dog. Bending the knees a little bit, really kind of thinking about engaging the core, because this is the core workout. It's the body or the meat of our practice this week, but it's also named the core because the core is the most important. It's holding everything together. It's like mission control. Engaging your core. Bring one leg up, bend the knee, little circles one way, little circles the other way. Straighten and bring it down. Bringing up the other leg, bend the knee, engaging the core, circles one way, circles the other way. Still engaging the core. Bend the knee if you need the knees if you need for alignment. And now let's really use the core to stay in position. If this hurts your wrist, you're welcome to come down to dolphin. If your wrists are okay, then let's stay in alignment by engaging the core. Well, let's walk the dog. So we're walking the dog by pedaling out the feet and getting a deeper stretch. With this, if you feel comfortable, you can jump your hands, jump your feet through your hands. Exhale, forward fold. In forward fold, as long as you're not lightheaded and things like this, you can hold opposite elbows and really feel the back body stretch. You can bend your knees to feel the connection between your torso and your legs, and then straighten them, thinking about your tailbone pointing up. Exhale, placing the hands under the feet. You can give yourself a little self-massage, which feels so good when you're pregnant with all the extra blood flow. And here, we'll pedal out the feet again. So let's just take a moment on each side, really spending some time on each side to get a deep, deep back, hamstring, IT band stretch. And exhale on the other side. Slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. And focus on the core. We're going to inhale, arms up, upward salute, strong legs, glutes, zip it up. And we're going to work that core in chair pose. Roll a little back and forward. Dropping the shoulders. Letting it burn a little bit. From chair, exhale. Coming up, oopsies, to your toes and skier. So it says our quotes, make the mind a single point. I'm not going to look at the camera. I'm going to look at my single point so I can balance. So we're in chair pose, coming up to our toes. Balancing is really requires the mind to be a single point. Okay, and then we are in skier, which is not a share method pose, but our core is at stake here. We need a little core exercise. So if you come out of it, just try to come back into it and work it. Apply our centering phrase of the week. To keep the mind in a single point, to focus, see how that helps you. Maybe play with coming down a little bit. See if it affects your heart rate. I'm cheating looking at the time, and that is not a good centering of the mind. So I fell out of it. So there's really a connection between balance and focus. Okay, arms up, back into chair. And we'll come out of it, still working the core, doing a little quad stretch to mitigate some of those effects of holding that chair pose. Exhale, continue with the centering quote, balancing a little bit in dancer. Exhale, shake it out. We'll do that on the other side. Doing a quad stretch. Breaking up some of that lactic acid we built up in chair and skier. And when you're ready, coming in to dancer. So I don't know, I'm a little off on this side. If you're not where you want to be, it's a practice, not a perfect, so keep practicing. Eventually you'll get there, or you'll have fun trying. It's flips and bloopers and all. So working on the core, balancing is such a great way to work on the core. So we'll bring our knee in, hug it a little to the side because it's prenatal. We don't want to be too close on our stomach. Bring it into tree, arms up, and to heart center. Zipping it up, engaging the glute, really imagining your bottom foot grabbing on. The cool thing with balancing poses are that you really have to engage everything, and it works with our centering quote, make the mind a single point. So I'll just offer a moment of silence as you make the mind a single point. You can come out of it. We'll bring our other leg in, give it a little hug. Inhale the arms up, zip it up, engaging our core. Thinking of our centering quote, make the mind a single point, and using that phrase to help us optimize our balancing. Engaging the core as this is our 10 minutes of core. When you're ready, you can shake it out. You can come to a comfortable seated position. That concludes our 10 minutes of core. Now we will start the cool down. So this is the final 10 minutes. You guys have done so awesome. So cool down, our last section of part 3. So come to a comfortable seated position. And then I invite you to come back, laying on your back, hugging your knees into your chest. You can rock back and forth. So just to recap, we had part 1 was 30 minutes meditation, broken into 3 topics, 10 minutes each. We had centering, breath work, and meditation. Then part 2 was techniques, 30 minutes also. And that was broken out into 3 sections, which was the pose of the week, the sequence of the week, and a brief cumulative review. Then finally, we're in our last part, which is 30 minutes also, which is the practice. The practice is broken up into 3 10-minute sections, the warm-up, the core, and now we're in the cool down. So we will continue our cool down for 9 more minutes. Then I'll send you on your way. But now let's breathe together. So come into happy baby. Grab each foot. You can grab by your big toes. Placing your feet on the ceiling. Well, not really, unless you're superhuman, but towards the ceiling, as if you were stepping on the ceiling. And thinking about connecting your spine with the ground. You can take the hands behind your neck, head, and really try to elongate your neck so that has more connection with the mat. And thinking about lowering your sacrum so your whole spine is connected with the mat. It's not really about like, oh, you can get your knee down if you can with a flat back, great, but it's more important to have a flat back. So in this happy baby, we'll just take a minute, we can rock it out a little bit. If you're in your 3rd trimester and you are uncomfortable, you can kind of do it on your side to get a similar stretch. We can keep rocking. From happy baby, we'll bring our legs up, and this is an inversion, but it's also working the core, so this is sort of a reminder of our emphasis on core today. If your hamstrings are really tight and this isn't really possible for you, you can lean your legs against a wall. Slowly bringing your legs down is a great core exercise, and that helps with prenatal. You can hover a little bit and slowly bring it up. From here, you can lean up a little bit and work the core a little bit in a relaxed, restorative way. Exhale the arms down. Bring the knees into chest wide legged again. We can go into shoulder stand if you're comfortable. We did this pose before. And this is restorative as well. From here, slowly bring the legs back down. Stepping each foot on the mat, shimmying your feet to the edge of the mat. Let's just windshield wiper our knees down, feeling the stretch in our hip flexors. We can't do twists of the torso, so you want to make sure your back is straight. For a little bit of a deeper stretch, drop one knee down, put a foot on it, and feel that deeper stretch. Let's take a few breaths here. Really letting go. As you breathe, you may want to open up your heart with a cactus pose. Bringing the knees into chest, shaking it out. Feet down on the mat again, windshield wipering the knees. And bring it all the way over and place a foot on the knee. Arms, sweeping the arms up, cactus pose again, noticing the difference in each side. Taking a minute to breathe here. This stretches your backside, your hip flexor. It's also a grounding pose. So we'll just take a moment to let go. From here, you can bring your knees into your chest, shaking it out again. And we'll do our fan favorite, which is crossing our legs like we're having a fun tea party, grabbing the ankles, make sure you have space for the belly. And to the extent this doesn't hurt your belly, then you can stretch this way, really stretching this glute. If you're a little bit bigger, you can push one leg out while the other arm pushes it in. Careful to not stress the kneecap. So either like this or like this, and we'll really just stretch the one side of the glute here. These are big, big muscles that are stubborn, and they take a lot of time and a lot of repetition to stretch, but we'll do our part on it today. Take a few breaths here, and then we'll switch to the other side. Bringing the knees back into chest. We'll do it on the other side. Cross your legs like you're having a nice tea party. Grab your ankles and pull them towards you, really stretching out the glute on the other side. As discussed, if you are showing, this is a prenatal teacher training after all, you can do it like this, pushing one leg out, bringing the other one, almost like a pigeon on your back. When you feel ready, you can give yourself one more self-love hug. Slowly straighten your legs out in front of you. You can take Savasana on your back, or for prenatal, sorry, my outfit snafu, it is blips and bloopers and all. I invite you to come to your side. You can use a bolster. Sometimes in prenatal, being on your side can offer a nice support. You can have one knee down. However is comfortable for you, we'll just have 1 minute of just total surrender. When you feel ready, you can start to wiggle your toes and fingers. You can gently part your eyelids to a soft gaze. If you are on your back, I encourage you to bring your knees into the chest for one final hug and to come to your side in one swift, solid movement so you don't twist your torso, as is important for the baby. Slowly bring yourself up to not be lightheaded. When you're in a comfortable seated position, take a breath. Lower your head and bring your hands to heart center. Namaste is a saying of gratitude. If you feel comfortable, you can say it or do what serves you. Definitely don't require anyone to say it. We're not trying to brainwash, and actually here to do the opposite, encourage critical thinking. So however makes you feel invigorated to end this practice, you can do that. Sometimes just a smile feels really good. So I will end this smiling to you. If you feel inclined, you can smile back to me. I wish everyone has a blessed day, feels empowered, and get some stuff done because that feels great. Okay, have a great day, everyone. See you later.